What's up? What's up? You know I have to start off with this. My logo. 3 ounces of gold. Ah, well, I'm gonna tell you this. This has been a real good day. Real good day for me. Uh, I had a chance to go out today and meet a lot of the brothers and sisters and talk to them. Sold a lot of books. Almost down there wiped me out. Which that was very good to have a problem. That's a problem I like. But I said that the main thing that make this day so good is I actually had the chance to talk to uh, a lot of sisters at that time in doing the reviews on my book and reading it and being excited and I guess inspirational to them too also that I was doing the book and I was telling how a lot of people in so-called circles didn't like or had a problem with some the erotic books that I did, and my whole question is to that is I'm my own individual entity, you know. I what's the word can I say? I deeply, you know, in look at me, I'm getting tripped up on words. I am deeply into individuality is the word, you know, and I feel like that the creator designed me to be me, myself, to wherever he want me to be, he or she. We're not gonna get caught up in that right now. But the main thing is when you go out and push a product, something that you create and want to network it to the world, keep in mind and let everybody know this is your personal creation and you're going to stand by it. Because you're not going to get sucked up into all these different standards that people try to place you in and this and that. That is vanity compared to what we need to do as all individuals to do is to get up and develop ourselves to come into a status where we can be independently showcasing ourselves, selling our concepts, selling our products, and getting it out to the masses of peoples. And especially when it's on a level of being beneficial to the community. And so it was very enlightening to me to find a lot of people I meet on the same concept saying, hey, I've been wanting to do this. I've been wanting that. This is the thing. You hit it right on the dot. You know, be myself. Bring out what's in me, what the Creator designed me to be, you know. Instead of being a clone, whether you're only going to do what the clone made you to be or made you to do, and you can only go in the paradigm that he or she, whoever it may be, designed you to be. And you don't want to be in that. What you want to do is you want to gather all the knowledge of self and to develop what you should be in this chaotic world, and what can you do in your special features that's biologically created within yourself to benefit others. And that's the whole main script of this. And so I tell everybody that when I go out and I develop something and I want to share it with the world, I want to share it as me to you, not to I'm trying to clone you to be me. No, that's vanity. That ain't got time. I want to put something into you that you develop, whoever you are, to go out and carry out what the universe is designed and created for you to be. And that's the main thing. And I think that's a lot of issues with us when we want to go into business and we want to go out and showcase our product or showcase our service. We forget that we're doing that product or service on a personal level, on an individual level that we feel like that it's going to push out and it's going to benefit the community, whoever that person may be who's receiving it. And that's the main point of that. And I want to share that because everybody is so in this standard in society, everybody's running around, following the father instead of trying to stand up and just be a leader and go after their own individual reality, their own individual biological makeup. And I think a lot of people need to sit back and understand that every individual on this earth has a certain purpose that they need to find within themselves, and what by biological design, what they're designed to do, and to educate themselves on it, develop themselves so they can meet those purpose to carry out what need to be carried out. And that's on an individual level. And I really learned a lot of things today when I associated with the brothers and sisters and was showing myself and showing what I had to provide, and understanding how people gravitate to that, because it's the realness, and it's the realness because I'm being myself. I'm not being nobody else. I'm being myself. And what I have to offer and being myself draw people to it. Because so many people are tired of the fake imitation. People that come to them and talking all this stuff that, they can see the fakeness in their body movements and the words to come out their mouth. Hey, this is not you, And when you display fake reality to a person, then that's the ultimate offensive mode, because how can you get reality out of something that's not real, and you trying to push on them something that you saying you're real and you're really not. And so that's the very nucleus of this video and this and that. When you go out and you do your thing, this and that, make sure it's real and it's coming from your heart and soul, and you do it with that momentum to it. Because when you being yourself and you being real about it, you're gonna put every dedication to it anyway. You know what I'm saying? And for from that concept, it keep you out. It keep you from being the so-called con artist and this and that that's trying to rip off people for money and all this old stuff, and have no beneficial for the community. He just have his own agenda to enrich himself and all that kind of stuff, which have a hard breakdown in the ending, because sooner or later people's gonna find out you're fake and you're not real, what you're standing up to and this and that. And so that's what I like to instill into people when I talk to and this and that. And and people all the time come to me and ask me, hey, who you follow, who you this and that. And to me, that is vanity. Because it's not about who I follow. Because first of all, if I follow somebody, I'm being fake already. Because if I became in sync with myself and individuality, I won't have to follow that person. Knowledge is about independence. Knowledge is about power. So power should lead to independence. So you should be independent on your own individuality, or what you want, what you need, and how you relate to the person you're communicating with. And I have to break it. I said, hold up, I don't follow nobody. I'm not subject to nobody. I'm not a slave to nobody concept of this and that. This is all me. I collectively grab the knowledge that I have done my research on, and to benefit myself, to develop myself who I'm supposed to be. And I want everybody that even look at this video and this and that, when they hear what I'm saying, to do the same for themselves. Develop yourself before you make a rich monster out of somebody else. And I see so much cloning processes going on this day and time, and people take that clone what somebody gave them and they say, well, this is me, this and that, and they come into a situation and they realize it's not them at all. There's a clone of somebody that presented something to them, and they took it and ran with it. So that's the thing I want to keep everybody in mind and mindful of. When you do your research, and I'm a researcher by heart. When you do your researching and you just examine a lot of things and this and that, look in your heart and look at the facts of that research, and you see what needs to come in and what needs to be rejected. Because we got so much pseudo knowledge out here that ain't worth the paper it's written on. And it's really designed to rip off people. So keep that in mind, And I'm always deep into individuality. When I talk to a person, when I talk to a brother, when I talk to a sister, this and that, I am more concerned with their personal development, to develop who they should be, and this creativity within their self, how it's going to push out and benefit others. And see, and that's what we all should be pushing for. Keep in mind, education today mostly on is not trying to educate you, is what it's trying to tell you. Instead of telling you how to think, it's trying to tell you what to think. And we need to become thinkers of ourselves and think for ourselves, and not a system that we tap into to think for us. We got to get away from that. You know, when you come to individuality and develop yourself, you got to become a self-thinker. Because it's too many, like I said, the cloning system, that the entity that created this clone and you become a part of this clone is thinking for you. And you don't need it to think for you. God created everybody in mind to think for itself and to take in the knowledge. And you gave your senses. And you know, which leads to the discernment, to when you process all this, you know what's good for you, and you know on the other hand what's not. And you can reject what's anti-individuality and what's pro-individuality. Because the whole thing is about it is to develop you to become an independent entity, to take on leadership, to lead and to benefit others, not to follow you, but to make them leaders into what the universe is designed for them to do. So you want to keep that in mind. And this was a good day for me because I talked to a lot of brothers and sisters, and that I share these concepts to, and they told me I was thinking the same thing. You know, I just need another person to say that. And they gravitate to it and they loved it. You know what I'm saying? And I enjoy telling them and this and that. Not only they loved it, they gave me feedback of information to read. See, there I go again. To reinvigorate what I was already saying. You know? And that's an edification for me. Because now I'm thinking, okay, I was only thinking this. Now I'm talking to this brother, I'm talking to this sister, and they thinking the same thing. And though we had never met in our life, but though when we come together, we had the same concept in mind. If you want to have freedom of thinking, then you must develop yourself within and cut off the clones. Because the clones ain't going to help you. The clones, all they want to do is duplicate their self, and you become a slave to what the concept they think of is reality, which you haven't reached to the point to verify. And because if you do verify it, you'll be able to break away. But since you took it to heart, what they saying, what is reality is, then you become trapped in that box that they gave to you. And then what the results of that? Always, we need your money, we need your time, we need your devotion, we need your unearned power. Well, they need it. But that's, you know, don't become a slave to make another person rich or this and that. That's not what it's all about. You know, that's never what it's all about. Always try to develop your mind to empower yourself. So, it sounds selfish. No, it's not selfish. Because each and every individual empower themselves in your community, you have a powerful community. Period. You know, it's nothing, and it's nothing wrong with that. And everybody have their own feature to play in that community, become a powerful community. Because community is made up of different flavors. And those flavors come together to make a unified, powerful community. And that's in all culture, you know. You can't have a bunch of scientists and no doctors. You can't have a bunch of doctors and no mechanics. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got a feature. You can't have a whole lot of philosophers and no doers. Yeah, I mean, you know, you got to find out what is your purpose in this world. And once you find out your purpose, which that's additional knowledge and research and this and that, and really evaluating what your desires and what you really desire after, then you can develop yourself and you can work on that desire and this and that, you know. And I emphasize that to a lot of people, especially young, because the young, they're going into college and this and that, and those, you know, who's coming out, stepping out in the world, if they're not going into college, still, you got to have a sense of what's your purpose. Because if you don't have no purpose, you just kind of float around in life, and you don't want to just float around and forsake your assignment. Because we all got an individual assignment, because that is our genetic makeup to each individual, you know. And I tell people in this and that in a very heavy heart, because I see very intelligent individuals that don't know their purpose, and they end up in jail, shot and killed, dead, you know. And they got all these benefits and features that somebody could be edified from what they have. But they don't know it because they don't know their value. And something in this system that told them that they don't have no value. And that's the killer thing. If you did your own research and edification and build yourself up, this social engineering that tells you ain't no value, you know, you reject that in your mind because you know it's a lie. You see what I'm saying? But a lot of us, because we don't have nothing to hold on, we take on the lie and believe it. And of course, believing is unverified information. And we have to believe it because we don't verify it. And we take it as hard as fact. And it's tragic. And when I come and talk to them and say, wait a minute, this and that, they argue down with a passion. And you ask them, did you check out, did you verify these facts? No. Why is you arguing me down? You see what I'm saying? You know? Stop and think. Everything that goes in your head to process your mind process, you got to have a filter. Is this good for me or is it bad for me? Period. You know? And if you don't have that filter, then in some ways it can become very destructive, depending on what your desires that you've been leaning on, and these misinformation get in your head to twist you, and have you all don't know what's going on, or think you know what's going on, and what you think is further from the truth. And so, and I really think that there's a lot of things that our youth is suffering from, because, and it's a perfect time, because their mind is open and is grasping. They got these burning desires in them and this and that. So they got natural distraction. And so it's a good time to shoot in misinformation in their head, and say, oh, well, this is the way it should be, or that's the way it should be, and this and that, when it's really not. And they don't really got time to check it out, because they're burning desires and this and that, and they want to do this, and I only saying this because I've been through it. I know, and I was lucky enough to not get destructed or get destruction from my burning desires, because this is what the system is gravitating on, and this is what the system is banking on. Yeah, they got burning desires and this and that, and we're going to use it against them before they realize what's going on, and what they realize how crucial it is in their life. Because when we was in our late teens, early 20s, we didn't think of nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? We thought life was good. And it is, but we thought that everything was safe and we can do what we want to do and this and that. And if we make a mistake, it's okay. We can correct that another day. But now, the mistake these days and times, you be locked up or killed, And how can you correct it if you're dead? And if you're locked up too long, how can you correct that? You see what I'm saying? So, and a lot of this can be avoided if we go into ourselves, learn who we are, which would take accurate information, break it away from the miseducation, and to really study who we are and what we here on this earth. What is our purpose? And hey, I know I'm first to tell you, I did a lot of things not young and this and that, and I'm so glad that I made it through and not failed in some of the devices that were set for me to fall, which I wasn't aware of, And so that's why I talk to a lot of the youth, and I done got an age where I got nieces and nephews and this and that is coming up, and I can see it on their face, because I had it on my face when I was at that age. I need the answers. What's up? What's going on? This and that, And I love to be the light, and I have been a light for many of them, to break down that confusion. Well, at the time, I didn't have it. And so I did make certain mistakes. But I was able to correct it and this and that, And I didn't lose the crumbs of freedom that I already have. Because still, we have freedom, but it's crumbs compared to real freedom. But on top of that, it's a freedom. It's a lack of freedom that we see in prison, that Nobody don't want to touch it, because that's really the stripping of freedom, and you can't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? So, out today, talking with the youth and this and that, and a lot of them was half my age, and a lot of them was that I see their mind was rolling and this and that, and it was very amazing for me. It was very inspiring for me, and it was edification for them to share knowledge, and not only share knowledge, to see the impact of knowledge. You see what I'm saying? It's one thing to share knowledge and people say, "Oh yeah." It goes to another, go in one ear and go out the other. But see the impact, and like, oh, I ain't thinking about it. Who's your name? This and that. I've been thinking about it, but nobody never gave me the answer. You see, that is an impact, and that type of impact can change their life forever. You see what I'm saying? They might be going down a road that was very destructive, but because of the dropping knowledge on them, they decided to go on another road, And all those individuals have that power, that have that knowledge, And yeah, I know it's complained that a lot of the youth is not listening, and that's true. A lot of them not, but there is some that are. I'd rather for the youth to tell me that I was destructive than going down the path when I heard the knowledge, versus telling me that they never heard anything at all. And out of that, when you talk to a youth out of the crowd, there might be a lot of them don't listen to you, but it is some listen to you. But the main thing is, it's been told to them. That is the main thing. Because they can't say they never heard it. And I can say I never heard it until later on in my life. And I knew, it really kind of pissed me off, because I felt like that if I heard this in my youth, I could have did a whole lot of things different and not wasted so much time in certain things when I know this. But this is knowledge versus time. Hear me out. If I or any individual can give you misinformation that's going to keep you blind for the majority of their life, hearing this blind knowledge to benefit their agenda, then it is crucial, versus a person who hear knowledge at an early age and go off into their legacy. You see what I'm saying? Because we always has been great. The only thing different is we have been fed misinformation to say you're not great and you never was nothing. And that is one of the biggest, I'm going to use one of their words, blaspheming lies. When you see our story instead of his story. You see what I'm saying? When you see our story, that is fudged from the truth. So you see the power of social engineering. And that's another thing. A lot of us don't understand social engineering. It's in our radios, it's in our media, it's in our rap. Well, some of it, but maybe a lot of it. It's in our atmosphere. And the social engineering is only there to push a certain individual up and to brainwash another individual down. You see what I'm saying? To keep this certain individual always in the air and keep this other individual always down. And it comes on your belief system. If you believe that, then that's what you're going to do. Because if you never know you was great, then they can tell you whatever they want to tell you. You see what I'm saying? So you never know you was great, then they can tell you you was on the low. And some reason or other you relate. Because your foundation haven't been built on your ancestors' history. You see what I'm saying? How they came with the comedic spirituality. How they came with the science. How they came with the medical. How they came with the architecture. How they came with the very knowledge you breathe. You know what I'm saying? Because you thinking somebody else had created this. Not alone the inventions that they still won't tell us that they have stolen. You know what I'm saying? And let's get deep with this recently. Hidden Figures. How many of y'all know Hidden Figures? A movie about black people working in NASA. Now, how long have they kept that knowledge away from us? Because all my life, I never known any of us had worked in NASA. You see what I'm saying? So now, on this level, how much more information they withheld that we don't know? You see what I'm saying? And it shouldn't be a surprise, because from what I have researched and this and that, but what I have researched for us, our knowledge and our ancestors, this and that, it still surprised me on the level of what this society said we have done or we haven't done. And then they come around and say, well, you did do this. You know? NASA. Come on now. Black folks putting the other man in space and this and that when they couldn't get up there unless they had to depend on the so-called inferior ones in this society. They had preached in all levels of media that you was inferior. But though you're putting his kind in space, which was very needed because the Russians was ahead of them. You see them? I mean, that's deep. You got to think about that. And on that note, I talk to you all night, and you know I ain't trying to do that because nobody ain't trying to look at no long video. Gets bored after a while, and I'm not trying to do that to you, and I'm not gonna do that to you. But I just want to share my inspiration of the day and my inspiration of the night. And if I look at the time, it might be morning. I ain't got no watch. But I'm sure there's a time on here somewhere. But anyway, blog man, dropping lyrics to you. And oh yeah, check out my poetry and blogs. And I hope you enjoy. Peace out.